take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for joining this session with us. The topic and the subject of this session is going to be your B2B e-commerce roadmap, in which we'll go through insights, strategies, and tactics to grow your revenue. My name is Sean Walls. I am the Vice President of Sales at MDF Commerce for our e-commerce division. So pleasure to meet you all, and I'll introduce you quickly to Patrick Fusserini.
Hi, Patrick Fusserini, Solution Consultant at K-Ecommerce. I've been doing it for about 6 years now. It's really been my role over the years to listen to our prospective customers' business requirements and their needs, specifically when it comes to e-commerce, to make sure that we have a solution that works for them. So I've heard all the cases when it comes to B2B e-commerce businesses.
And here's the first poll, everyone. Which best describes your current stage in adopting B2B e-commerce? We'll let you, we can keep that launched and you can keep going in the presentation if you'd like, and then I'll just close it out in about a minute.
Perfect.
Thanks for that, Amy.
So
Good. So during today's session, you'll learn from real-world examples and practical strategies on getting B2B e-commerce right, including how to deliver the customer experience, navigating complex B2B pricing strategies, and prioritizing customer-specific experiences that B2B buyers are looking for. We'll also guide you through the process of selecting the ideal platform for your teams and practical tips on how to get started and fine-tune your e-commerce journey. Some of the main topics that we're also going to review, and then we'll have a focus on insights into the current state of the industry, key considerations and challenges in B2B e-commerce, and real-world examples and practical strategies. Today, you're really going to walk away having learned 3 different things. 1, understand the key trends and overcome challenges in B2B e-commerce. 2, know how to leverage e-commerce to enhance operations and customer experience. And 3, have the confidence to select the right platform and launch a successful e-commerce strategy.
So here you are. Maybe you're thinking about getting an e-commerce project started. Maybe you're already well into one and you feel like you're on an island alone. Or maybe you're new to all of this and you just want to learn more to decide whether it's right for your business at this time. Well, for all of those scenarios, a game plan or a roadmap can prove to be an incredibly valuable asset. But before we go anywhere, we need to know why we're going there. Only then can we talk about how to get there. So first, a roadmap helps navigate complexity. You'll hear me mention this many times throughout our time today, but business-to-business buying can be quite complex, right? Imagine embarking on a cross-country trip without a map or a GPS. Chaos, right? The decisions are made with a lack of foresight, thinking about the next step rather than thinking about the 10 next steps. So second, measuring success. Just like on a GPS, you have coordinates that you deliberately plan to hit along the way. Call them rest stops, call them milestones, or even checkpoints. These points will ensure that you are on the right path to where you want to be. And along the way, it'll let you recalibrate to properly allocate resources at the right time or ensure that the whole team is aligned with the end goal. And finally, going back to GPS, everybody can understand a map or a GPS. It's a universal language that executives, developers, or marketing teams can all read together. Stakeholders crave clarity, and nothing is more clear than when everybody is humming to the same tune. So before we plan out our roadmap, it's important to know the general landscape that we're trying to navigate. And so today we're going to start by talking about business-to-business e-commerce today and what the market looks like.
So the first takeaway today for B2B sellers of all sizes is that business buyers want an omni-channel and digitally driven purchasing experience. The average buyer will use 3 to 10 different channels to research different products, to find different pricing, to make sure that they're at the right location. So the messaging here is your e-commerce experience needs to be consistent across the board. And putting your Acumatica ERP at the center guarantees a central single source of truth. Your Acumatica ERP is the most vital component of the e-commerce experience that you're building. Clients will now have access to the specific information that you want them to see, whether that be product availability, pricing, etc. And all that information will be in real time and accurate. Your Acumatica ERP is now the central hub for all relevant data, not only for the clients, but for internal accounting teams, order taking, or even for your customers to view their full purchasing history, allowing your teams to identify product gaps, upsell opportunities. It will take away the guessing and will help you optimize revenue and streamline that purchasing experience from your customer.
We've reached a very interesting point in business-to-business e-commerce, I would say. Historically, it was about being in the game, right? Having an online presence. But it's not just about that anymore. While 70% of business-to-business buyers recognize the convenience of online purchasing, and they do prefer it, only 36% feel that they have a good experience when using it. So this highlights a critical gap between usage and satisfaction. Where a B2B e-commerce presence was once a differentiator, buyers' preferences, like they always do, have now evolved. It has become the norm. Today, they gravitate towards companies that not only offer a B2B e-commerce platform, but excel at it, delivering a better online experience than the others. So the question becomes, how do we get our business-to-business customers to love using our platform? And the answer for me lies in the nuances of B2B transactions. Right? If we're talking about selling parts or components, for example, they have a more technical nature, and so that adds layers of complexity that need to be replicated on your e-commerce channel. When these expectations are not met, well, the result is a frustrating experience that often leads buyers to resort to the traditional methods of communication, such as phone calls, to resolve their issues. And they went to the online store to avoid having these issues to begin with, to avoid having to call in to begin with. So by doing this, you're both defeating the purpose of the online buying experience, and you're also wasting the time of the customer, things that we obviously don't want. In essence, the room for improvement in business-to-business e-commerce is vast, but so is the opportunity.
Now we'll talk a little bit about pricing. And this slide is actually quite shocking to me. Only 22% of companies are using dynamic pricing. Or in other words, that's 78% that aren't offering any kind of complex pricing options that are necessary in B2B purchasing. So the question might be, what is dynamic pricing? Well, dynamic pricing in e-commerce is a method of price optimization where prices for products or services are adjusted in real time based on a variety of factors. Imagine a virtual marketplace where prices seem to live on their own life, fluctuating in response to demand, competition, and other market dynamics. Exactly this dynamic approach allows online sellers to fine-tune their pricing strategy to maximize profits and stay competitive. Just to give you a few examples of what that looks like, there's customer-specific pricing. So based on the size of a customer and how much they order, you can go in and they'll have full price lists that can be adjusted at any given moment. volume pricing. So if you have a customer that comes in and buys a remarkable amount of a particular SKU or product that you have, well, we have volume pricing, geographic pricing based on location, supply and demand pricing. So if we are running low on supply and we have a variety of our customers coming to purchase that good in particular, we can increase the price knowing that inventory levels are low. These are just a few examples of how dynamic pricing can be applied in e-commerce versus a brick and mortar store, for example. You will now have the availability to make decisions on the go that will drive revenue and create new opportunities for your business. Here, this slide represents really the opportunity. What is the opportunity? And out of 70% of business-to-business decision makers that were polled, they were willing to spend up to $500,000 on a single e-commerce platform. Well, business-to-business integrated e-commerce trends continue to grow year over year. Companies are looking to reduce their costs to increase their growth. How do we do this? No matter the cost of the e-commerce platform that your company is going to acquire, the ROI should be within 36 months. And that ROI can come in many different forms: increase in cart size, reduction on resource spend, new customer acquisition, and many more. Let's continue taking a deeper dive to understand more about integrated e-commerce with an Acumatica ERP.
Now that we know why having a business-to-business e-commerce strategy is so important, we can talk about how to execute on building the roadmap for one. Naturally, defining a structured approach to building a roadmap is what we've tried to do here. So from this point out, we'll be covering what we believe is a solid 5-step guide to streamline the process of finding the right platform for you. These steps are designed to guide you through the journey, ensuring that you're equipped with the necessary tools and insights to construct a vision for your e-commerce roadmap to where you want to go, and to ultimately be confident in your decision-making when going forward with this type of project or plan. So what is in B2B Ecommerce Roadmap? 5 simple steps that are not merely a checklist of to-dos, but a guide to help you get thinking about what works for your business and how to match the great service that you provide face-to-face online. So we'll go briefly, or I'll highlight briefly these 5 steps, and then obviously we'll go into the details on them. And first, it starts with a vision, right? Establish goals. What does success look like for your e-commerce project? Is it increased sales? Is it about reducing operational costs? Maybe it's about expanding out to new markets you haven't touched yet. Or even, of course, customer satisfaction. Define specific and quantifiable targets that will drive your strategy forward. Just as importantly, make that vision crystal clear to those who are involved, because you'll be surprised with how your team can find creative ways to hit their targets when they know what the end goal is. And so this bleeds into point number 2, get aligned with your team. If you knew everything about your organization, then you wouldn't need anybody else. The executives know the vision, marketing knows how to penetrate the market, IT knows a number of things like data sources and infrastructure and security, sales knows what to sell and who buys, and finance, well, we all know what finance knows. Aligning these diverse needs and requirements is crucial for a cohesive strategy. And if there's one thing that I've learned over my 6 years talking to businesses every day, it's that this needs to be a collaborative process. I cannot tell you the number of times that I'm on a sales call and conversation goes in a direction where individuals from different departments of the same organization are all learning about each other's reality really for the first time. And it's good to see, but also important to have. Step number 3 is to anticipate the challenges that you might face along the way, right? Having foresight into what the next 5 years looks like is as important as looking into what the go live plan is. By anticipating challenges and planning for them, you can avoid common mistakes that end up derailing the entire project for years. I remember actually speaking to one business years ago who kept deferring a question around taxes and how they would be calculated on their online store. They thought it would be simple enough. One thing led to another. They involved certain team members later on in the process, and ultimately they had to push their project out by more than a year. Step number 4, probably the most obvious one on the list, is pick a solution that works. There are so many e-commerce platforms out there. Some claim to do business to business, others claim to be best in class. Choosing the right solution is a decision that will have long-term implications for your business. The platform itself is only part of the solution, though. There are also other important elements to consider. What about the company that you'll be working with? Do they offer adequate support and customer service? Are they in a time zone that works for you? Do they take the time to know you and your business, or do they treat you like a statistic? In this regard, every business has different preferences, and they have to define those before making a decision. As James Clear says in the book Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So ensure that the systems that you put into place work for your needs. And finally, get started. With a clear plan and the right team in place, it's time to take the first steps. Implementing your e-commerce strategy is a journey of continuous improvement and also adaptation. As you move forward, you'll inevitably take a few steps back from time to time. So treat this as an opportunity to learn, refine, evolve, and reevaluate, always with your vision in mind. If I've learned anything, it's that you can do all the planning in the world, but when you get into it, action will always be the thing that helps realize your goals. And often, the process of doing helps you realize that new possibilities exist that you previously didn't even consider.
We're now going to dive into establishing your e-commerce goals. So the general overarching goal is always growth within an organization, but there's multiple smaller facets of that. And I want to take a couple minutes just to dive into those. So profitability. This is one of the main drivers when deciding to enter the e-commerce world, or even during a re-platform. Some things that we want to keep in mind when it comes to profitability is that now your customers have accessibility to all of your inventory 24/7. So there's no more calling in, there's no more extra resources. Everything is online, and it is specifically built for each one of those customers. Your pricing is customized to your customers, your warehouse availability and shipping methods is all heavily customized and fully in your control. From an efficiency standpoint, as an organization, you will now be able to reduce the efforts it requires to take an order and really evaluate, do we need a full customer service team? Do I need a call center? Do I need a team taking email orders? Your clients will also now have visibility into their full order history from the time they began with you, anything that will come out of your Acumatica ERP. Your accounting team will be extremely happy because all of the account statements are now automated. They're not manually created one by one, but they're all within your system. You will have now automated up to 90% of the customer buying journey and reduced efforts while optimizing that customer experience. And through that, we're going to walk into revenue. Well, from a revenue perspective, there's a variety of things that can be done. The two that I really want to highlight here are how can we reposition certain team members that were heavily involved in that customer service and order taking component of your business and refocus those individuals on new sales and new revenue. How can we build our brand? How can we find new clients? The second major component from revenue is how can we increase upsell opportunities? Is it through our e-commerce platform by adding commonly paired items? Is it the availability to present new SKUs or new items to particular customers? So there's ways to generate new revenue that take minimal effort. From a reputation standpoint, it's extremely important that you cover these 4 points. Make sure that the ordering process is seamless. To generate online reviews, there are multiple different platforms that are specifically used for online reviews that will help your company generate new clients. Maximize your SEO, make sure you're there at the top of the first page. A lot of this can be done through the platforms. And have a customer-specific experience per client. You'll need to build those out. Now I want to talk a little bit about cross-departmental alignment. So there's multiple stakeholders that will be involved in this e-commerce journey that you'll embark upon. Obviously, we have the CEO at the top, the finance team, IT, sales, and marketing. I'm going to take a little bit more time just to dive into each one of these individually. CEOs want an all-in-one platform that's secure, scalable, and flexible. Marketing needs a user-friendly tool integrated with Google Analytics and essential marketing features. IT prioritizes security, system integration, and efficiency through ERP solutions. Finance, they're always looking for precision, efficiency, and PCI certification for data security. Sales, on the other hand, they want to navigate through self-service e-commerce with dynamic catalogs, live chats, sales portals. So really, the CEO's primary goal for the company is growth, involving expanding top and bottom lines for optimal revenue and profit. Simultaneously, the CEO aims to enhance operational efficiency, striving to boost productivity while minimizing costs, obviously. While adept at managing risks, CEOs actively embrace strategic risks for a competitive edge in new technology. Recognizing the growth potential of e-commerce, CEOs await a solution that maximizes ROI and provides sustainable long-term advantages. According to the CEOs, the ideal solution is the B2B e-commerce platform, an all-encompassing solution addressing marketing, accounting, and technological needs, emphasizing security, stability, flexibility, and scalability. CEOs seek a platform that seamlessly expands with the company's growth. Now, what's marketing really looking for if we take a deeper dive? Marketing's mission in life is to generate qualified leads and enhance web store conversions. In practical terms, this involves continuous optimization of the customer experience through the analysis of customer behavior using tools like Google Analytics. In an ideal setting, every element of the web store is finely tuned based on data. Marketing needs the agility to promptly update the website as data evolves. The perfect solution for marketing demands a robust and user-friendly CMS that non-technical personnel can navigate independently. Key features include seamless integration with Google Analytics and built-in SEO tools. A dynamic multimedia product catalog with images, videos, descriptions, and specs is essential for attracting and converting new leads. This comprehensive solution includes essential marketing tools like cross-sell and upsell capabilities, personalized coupons, web promotions, and gift cards, quick and easy access to pricing, quotes, and real-time product availability is crucial. An optimized conversion funnel, ideally with a one-page checkout, holds the potential to significantly reduce the cart abandonment rate, making it the best B2B e-commerce platform for your marketing success. To jump into IT, IT oversees the company's technical infrastructure. Their goal is to measurably increase the efficiency of operations and the influx of revenue. They maintain the integrity of the company's various systems while integrating them for optimal synergy. System and data security are paramount of importance to IT. Stability is equally vital since IT is responsible for keeping the website up and running smoothly. It seeks to leverage existing technology and investments as a part of a unified system. ERP integrated e-commerce will always be the first choice of a CIO or a CTO. Comprehensive business data shared in real time between the ERP and a web store prevent siloed product and price information. Automating key business processes like order fulfillment and invoicing accelerate turnaround while eliminating human error. IT departments look for PCI certified solutions to guarantee data security, for stability and infrastructural scalability. They prefer a cloud-based solution or software as a service. Talk a little bit about finance now. Finance optimizes the order to cash process. Much like the CEO, they look to lower operational costs and increase overall productivity. Their aim is to minimize or even eliminate expensive mistakes such as order, pricing, or inventory errors. They also ensure accuracy of the negotiated customer level online. Return on investment assessment and calculation tools are important to understanding long-term cost and value to the company. To do all this, finance needs access to full, up-to-date business data at all times. This includes comprehensive order, invoice, and customer information. Finance and IT have a lot in common when it comes to their e-commerce requirements. Both look for an ERP integrated solution that unifies business data and ensures accuracy. Finance especially looks for pricing and order integration. They also want the security of a PCI certified solution. Configuring different levels of user access to the website's backend is another important security element. Powerful self-service account features give customers and staff alike easy access to all relevant data, dashboards for detailed reporting and order information. Last but not least, sales, closely allied with marketing. Sales aims to find and close new opportunities as quickly as possible. They have revenue quotas that they need to attain and ideally exceed. However, the self-service e-commerce paradigm, coupled with the sheer volume of choice facing consumers, has shifted the sales reps' goals. Rather than a focus on closing, sales in e-commerce often functions as a customer guide into choosing a product. To do this, they need access to tools and content that will help them support their buyer's journey. Sales and product information siloed across multiple systems presents a major challenge. Like everyone else, sales benefits from an ERP integrated solution that unifies all the data in a single place. The merchandising features of a dynamic product catalog make it easy for sales to highlight key product features to potential customers. Live chat gives sales a direct line of communication to on-site shoppers with questions. A sales portal allows reps to place orders even when they're on the road. On the flip side, a customer self-service account option might meet post-sale service needs. And it's all important. When they all work, your organization can succeed and scale sustainably.
So you may be thinking about step 3 and reading the title that says plan ahead for common pitfalls. And you might think to yourself, well, how can I plan for situations that I cannot predict? It's my first time doing it, or I don't know the future. The easiest answer is for you to leverage experts who have seen these common pitfalls happen, who have seen countless e-commerce projects go live and honestly seen some of them fail, and they know and have learned from those things. This is one of the most underrated aspects that there is until you experience it for yourself. Right? So seek out an e-commerce partner, not just a vendor. A partner that will ask the right questions, that'll challenge you in your business, that'll challenge the current processes that you have set up. Bring up situations that they've seen in the past and seen how they're explained to you how they've overcome them. Right? This is what it is crucially important when talking about planning ahead for pitfalls. So here's some questions that I have seen over the years that might work into the thinking of this step of the plan. First being, are my teams and stakeholders aligned and ready for change? Now, previously, Sean talked about getting aligned, right? He went through the different members of the organization and how they can all be aligned, though having different needs. It's important to ensure that all teams and stakeholders are not only aware of what is to come and the goals that are at hand, but are also actively engaged and ready to embrace them. As we said, we can't predict everything, so being flexible and being open-minded to adapt to situations that come up can go a long way. How is my data getting to my e-commerce platform? Well, the flow of data from your e-commerce platform should be seamless. Goes without saying. We've mentioned it already. Consider how product information, customer data, pricing data, and transaction records will be transferred and displayed. Right? Manually importing this data in and out of your e-commerce platform just doesn't work anymore. An example is, as we've already talked about, is integrating Acumatica with an e-commerce platform directly. Right? This can automate data synchronization back and forth between the systems and ultimately improve customer engagement. Because, going back to what we talked about before, I'm willing to bet that one of the reasons that 36% of business-to-business buyers are unsatisfied with their e-commerce buying experience is probably because of the data that they see. And because they rely on this data to make business decisions that end up being inaccurate. Right? If I'm a business that receives an order, I don't know, for 1,000 units of a certain part, and I only have 200 in stock, I want to be able to go to my distributor's website. I want to be able to see accurately how much inventory that distributor has. That way I can make an informed purchase decision. If I don't see that information, I'll probably shop elsewhere. I can't make a mistake here. Now, what will integrating a solution with my ERP entail? Integrating your e-commerce solution with an ERP is a complex but necessary step to make sure that consistency is across the board. We talk about having a single source of truth. This is really what it's all about. It allows for real-time updates to happen that reduce manual efforts. It reduces the potential for mistakes and errors that are caused by manually changing multiple systems. As we all know, the ERP runs the business, right? Acumatica, that's really what it's there for. And so it's crucial to ensure an integration is done between the two systems in a robust way that has been proven to work time and time again. Sometimes the level of detail that would be needed to integrate these types of systems, it can come at a costly price tag. That's why the more experienced the e-commerce integration provider is, the more cost-effective the integration can end up being. Now, what are the security risks? Well, security should be top priority always. More and more business-to-business buyers are paying you with different forms of payment, including bank accounts and credit cards. With this comes, of course, the topic of PCI compliance, PCI certification, and all the rest of it. So it's important to assess potential vulnerabilities and ask about security measures to protect that type of sensitive data. More and more now we see the anonymization of customer information becoming popular and added to different laws around the world. WCAG is another one that comes to mind. Not really a security risk, but just as important. We've all heard about the horror stories of companies having large data breaches, prompting them finally to overhaul their security protocols and invest in advanced cybersecurity solutions. Well, instead of waiting for that day to come, think about this from the get-go. Now, what issues do companies like yours come across in implementing business-to-business e-commerce? We could talk about this all day, but maybe one point to sum it up would be understand the unique needs that your customers have. Recognize how different B2B or business-to-business and direct-to-consumer e-commerce can be. It's very common for business-to-business buyers to place large orders off of spreadsheets to find very technically specific parts that they need for their applications. Not every e-commerce platform offers, technical specs, offers spreadsheet ordering off of imports and things of this nature. Another example revolves around customer-specific product offerings, right? Some customers should have access to buy certain items, whereas other customers should not have access to buy these things. And so ultimately, as I said, it comes down to the idea of understanding the needs that your customers have and working off of that. And last, am I offering the flexibility, functionality, and performance that my customers want? Well, make sure your platform will be fast. Make sure that it's easy to use. Often in business-to-business buying, it's about being quick and efficient. I know what I need to buy. I want to get into the system, find what I'm looking for, and check out because I have my own business to run. So these days, even in B2B, that means total availability on a desktop, on a mobile device, tablet, wherever I am in the world. Being able to have this type of accessibility is no longer just a luxury, it really is a necessity. Now, when planning, so we're at step number 4 here. When planning for your business-to-business e-commerce solution, choosing the right platform to meet the needs of different departments, their unique business needs becomes the chief consideration before starting to adopt and implement this journey. In comparing the strengths of different platforms, like we said a few minutes ago, you have to consider the different roles within the organization and the needs of your buyers. So that means ideally choosing a solution that supports unique complexities that you might be facing and that is secure and obviously fully integrated to Acumatica goes a long way regardless. Now, we've highlighted 2 options here, both providing different results and different considerations. While you can retrofit a business-to-consumer type platform to meet B2B requirements, achieving a perfect fit may involve compromises. It requires careful planning, sometimes significant customization or add-on modules to be included, and ongoing maintenance can sometimes prove to be difficult when you have so many different features that you've added on. For some businesses, option 2 might be better, where you have a dedicated B2B specific platform that might be a more efficient and definitely more scalable solution in the long run. However, for others, particularly those with specific needs that need many different plugins and know their business well, retrofitting a B2C type platform can totally be a viable option. Ultimately, option 1 might be less knowledgeable in B2B business, but prove to have benefits in other areas, as I said. That's natural. It wasn't designed for B2B, it was designed for business to consumer, and many features have been added. So depending on what your established company needs in terms of business requirements, step 4 is where you evaluate and select the option or the solution, I should say, that works best for your needs. You're on mute, Sean.
Sorry about that.
No.
B2B e-commerce platforms often incorporate advanced functionality to tackle the complexities of B2B transactions, including customer-specific pricing, real-time inventory tracking, and customized payment arrangements. Some also offer catalog management, enhanced customer relationship management, and a robust checkout process. All that and more to ensure your B2B business maintains strong, lasting relationships with your valued partners. We'll go through different B2B features, categories, but before we go through it all, let's do another quick poll.
Which of the following do you consider the most significant in your B2B e-commerce strategy?
Moving forward here, maybe those answer choices will have you have a good idea as to where we're going next. So let's take some time to highlight key components that might help you better assess the options that work for your customers. In other words, what tools do you need in order to have that excellent e-commerce experience that your customers desire? Well, we know that different from B2C transactions, not every customer gets the same price. Not every customer should have the same payment terms. So offering customer-specific buying options will help you drive your B2B sales. As I said before, not all customers should have access to buy all of your items. For example, you're a distributor of pens that I have in my hand here. You have a customer that's requesting to have a logo printed on their pens. I don't know if you can see that, but here's my pen. When that customer wants to reorder the pens that they printed, well, they should have access to do so online. Right? Every so often, they need to buy a new batch of these logo printed pens. But naturally, this branded pen with this logo should not be available to any of my other B2B customers. That doesn't make sense. So every customer's experience has the potential to be different based on their unique needs and agreement with you as a business. Similarly, this concept applies for pricing. Right? Some customers are bigger than others. They qualify for lower prices. They do more business with you. There are many reasons as to why you might offer price discounts to different customers. When they shop online, they should see their price, not a generic price, not the MSRP or retail price. They should see what they will be getting as a price when they purchase. Furthermore, we talked about data integrations before. So picking a fit-for-purpose e-commerce platform means that you need to consider the implications of getting those prices onto your e-commerce platform, notably by integrating your data directly into Acumatica, because it allows for a single source of truth to exist, as I said. Bottom line is that it means huge operational efficiencies. It means that your customers always see the correct pricing information and all other information. And finally, in this section, I'll talk about payment and shipping methods. So they sometimes can go hand in hand. Some customers qualify for net terms, right? Net 30, net 60s of the world, where they can put orders on their account and they can pay them at a later date. Others don't qualify and should be forced to pay upfront via credit card or bank transfer. Prefer to keep it simple, right? They want their offering to be simple so that every customer gets the same payment options, the same shipment options, makes managing it maybe a little bit smaller, but also reduces the capabilities that they're offering to their customers. Other businesses prefer to include that detail so that customers truly have the same experience, whether they're in person or they're at home or in store. Now that we've discussed data that's relevant to each customer, the tools that they have to purchase are just as important. As I said, a couple of times, B2C and B2B buying are not the same. When you're talking about consumer buying, we're interested in heavy marketing, emotional decisions, and intense promotional offers to get the message across and entice purchases. In B2B, we're more interested in accurate data, easy ways to find what your customers are looking for, and even easier ways to order or add these items to the cart, especially if they have large orders. Bottom line is in B2B, customers normally know who you are and they're likely returning customers. Now, buyers should be able to see what's available at any given moment, avoiding the frustration of back orders and things like delays. Right? It's one thing to wait on something for myself that might be on back order, but it's another thing to wait for an item that's on back order for my business because that affects my revenue. So when searching for items that they might need, there has to be a number of ways for me to get to what I'm looking for. Things like keyword search, which we've all used before, using attributes as filters to filter through different specs and find components that fit what I need. Sometimes searching by part number as well, if I know the codes of what I'm looking for. And of course, the one that we have all seen before when talking about search is category search. But another overlooked element is reordering, specifically off of past orders. Right? If I buy the same thing from you once a month, even once a year, I'd love for to have the ability to click one button and reorder it all again. And finally, I mentioned ordering via spreadsheets earlier on. Depending on your business, this is very much a dependent situation, but some customers that I've spoken to order or have orders that are anywhere between 10, 20, 50, or even 100 line items at times. Now, can you imagine having to build a list of parts, then search for each one of those on the website before adding them to a shopping cart? Clicking probably 50 to 100 times just to build that order that might contain 50 line items. Needless to say, it can be very long and sometimes can be tedious. So often, B2B businesses have customers send them a list of parts via email, via Excel, or something like that. And when we talk about having an excellent e-commerce experience online, well, facilitating these types of interactions really does speak volumes. And last but not least here, when considering the right platform, it's crucial to think about how it will serve not just your customers, but also your internal team. Don't forget that this is a tool for everybody. Up to this point, we focused on customer options, but it's just as important to provide the choice of human interaction to your customers when necessary. Right? They'll still want to call in sometimes and speak to somebody. So your internal sales team or customer service reps should have access to tools that enhance their ability to assist customers. Empowering your staff with an e-commerce platform that allows them to place orders on behalf of their customers can prove to be crucial. Not only for the customer experience, but also for security reasons sometimes as well. Because with this type of thing in place, your internal staff might not need direct access into backend systems that they otherwise wouldn't need access to, something like an Acumatica for basic information or order creation, since that'll all be available directly online through an e-commerce portal. Now, moreover, let's revisit the vision and consider its scalability and future-proofing concept. Right, if there's a possibility of expanding your online presence with additional websites, so expanding out additional brands, think about whether you'll need to start from scratch each time you decide to deploy a new website. A platform that allows you to leverage the same system and the same data that you've already input into it and kind of replicate that across your multiple websites can help you save significant time in the long run, ensuring that you have a consistent and scalable approach to your strategy for expansion. So in summary, point number 4, or step number 4, talks about the right e-commerce platform that should cater to showcasing customer-specific information, allow for efficient B2B buying, allow your customers to access their information 24/7, and to provide the necessary tools for your internal team to support your customers just as effectively. By considering all of these different elements, you'll be well equipped to choose a platform that works for your organization.
Thank you, Pat. That was a bunch of great information. So just to summarize a little bit about what Pat was saying, once you know what to look out for on your journey and how to align the goals you've established with a fit for purpose solution, it's time to kick off, launch, and start seeing some return on your investment. As a reminder, 3 things really to remember: prioritize an ERP integrated solution that best serves the diverse requirements of your organization, because each organization is different from one another. Focus on the human factors in your organization, such as revising sales and revenue targets to reduce pressure on employees. This can help you retain and motivate talent while maintaining productivity. 3, data must be available for analysis to provide greater insight into the business. I will by far say that number 3 is the most important one and one of the best parts of having an integrated e-commerce solution to Acumatica.
So as we wrap up our exploration of the e-commerce roadmap for business to business, it's clear that having a roadmap is just the beginning, right? Winning in the B2B e-commerce space isn't solely about following a predefined path. It's about understanding what to prioritize and how to effectively do so. It's also about realizing when to take a tangent off of the roadmap to explore something new before circling back. So customers are vocal about their needs. And to address this, we've put together a checklist of B2B customer experiences that kind of like a best practices guide, if you will. Feel free to take a screenshot. This checklist is essentially a pool of insights drawn both from industry statistics as well as from customer feedback, ensuring that you're equipped with actionable strategies to enhance your customer satisfaction. So we'll go through the list rather quickly here in terms of that sort of checklist, we'll say. The first one is usability, right? Your B2B site must be informative and user-friendly. Customers should find it easy to navigate and locate the information that they need without hassle. The other one is consistency, right? The experience and the performance should be uniform across all channels, whether it's mobile, desktop, as I said before, in person, on the phone, or anywhere else. Ensuring that seamless transition from medium to medium is very important. The next one is flexibility. The platform should offer enough flexibility to personalize the experience to meet individual customer needs, showing them their pricing, showing them their product offering that they should be allowed to purchase. This makes the customer feel valued and makes them feel understood. It makes them want to return because it's all there for me to see. Next up, we have functionality. So essential B2B functionalities must be present and adaptable to cater to the unique needs of your customers. You can look for platforms that offer a number of different pieces, but ultimately, as I said, it's about assessing the ones that your business might need to operate with and using those. And then we move on to performance. Of course, it has to be fast, it has to be responsive and mobile friendly, and it has to be capable of handling complex transactions that you might typically see in B2B buying without any downtime or lag. Could you imagine if adding 50 line items to an order caused the system to crash each time? That would be, needless to say, horrible for your customer experience. And then we finish off with security. Above all, the platform needs to be secure, safeguarding customer data and keeping them and having their peace of mind in store, and also transaction data against potential threats that might come up.
So what do you think is the most important for your customers in the B2B e-commerce experience based on all of that?
Let's take a dive into some real examples with companies who struggled with some of these best practices and found the solution they needed to get it right. Our first example is a tale of a lack of usability solved by a fit-for-purpose B2B e-commerce solution. What was the problem? Well, we have a chassis and suspension components provider in the automotive aftermarket industry. that had a custom-built transactional website that was not integrated into their ERP. It was so inefficient and lacking in product information that B2B customers would end up just calling in to make the purchase or to ask general questions about product availability, more descriptions, specifications. This was causing extra work to the existing customer service teams and frustrating clients because a simple order was taking 5 times longer than it should have on an e-commerce website because of the lack of information. What was the solution? The organization, the company, invested into an ERP integrated solution linked to a visually appealing mobile-friendly site. This allowed them to have all the product details needed for their clients to make an educated decision with real-time pricing and inventory. This not only secured existing business, but now new buyers were starting to visit the site and have that same experience. So customer acquisition will come into play when deploying a good B2B integrated e-commerce site. The result, ultimately, customers were happy using the site, order volumes went up, reorder volumes went up, and the company as a whole had access to all of that data to help them drive decisions down the road for their e-commerce journey. It really enabled them to have the power to make the right decisions down the road.
So I spoke to a distribution company probably 2 years ago now that faced a significant challenge with their data management specifically, or at least that's what came to mind when thinking about this. They had an extensive catalog of products, each with their own, code or SKU, their own description, their own pricing information. But the problem was that over the years, this data was scattered across various formats: Excel spreadsheets, PDFs, some within the ERP. They managed pricing somewhere else entirely. It was really kind of, divided in that way. It made it impossible really to keep track of the data, which in turn, as you probably could guess, caused a ton of inefficiencies in their operations. It prolonged sales cycles. And it also led to customers not being particularly happy because they would get quoted 1 week for a certain price and then maybe spoke to someone else and got quoted for an entirely different price because they were using different sources. So they found themselves working way harder than they needed to correct a bunch of mistakes that, at the end of the day, could have been avoided. They struggled to respond to customers' needs, and moreover, they wasted time, which consequently ate into their revenue. So the solution came in the form of implementing business-to-business e-commerce that offered the ERP integration. They were able to centralize their product information into one place where it should be managed, I would argue, in the ERP, in Acumatica, and their customer then gained access to all the accurate information all the time. It not only saved time for their sales team and for their customers, but it also led to those happier customers. So the reason I wanted to use this example is because it highlights the importance of keeping clean data for everybody to use. They implemented an e-commerce solution that not only addressed the immediate sales pain points, but also helped their customer satisfaction.
So what's next? Your roadmap guide. So to wrap up this session, we really wanted to share this 5-step plan again. Keep in mind that implementing practical strategies such as enhancing customer experience, managing complex pricing structures, and prioritizing the personalized experiences that B2B buyers demand is crucial. However, the most important takeaway is to establish a robust e-commerce growth engine that benefits both your organization and your customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I guess I don't know how questions are going to work, but if you'd like to ask any questions, feel free. We can see if we can answer them.
put them in the Q&A or the chat if you do have any questions. This was such a great presentation. Thank you so much. It was a really great to see all the things you need to think about when implementing a e-commerce strategy, because there is a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of key players and stakeholders. There's a lot of different people need to be involved. And so it gives you that really holistic view of what you really need to think about, so it does get implemented correctly and you have the things you need and the tools you need and the processes in place. And so, yeah, really great guide. Thank you so much.
A big
Thank
thank
you.
you to yourself too, Amy, and the ISB Society for having us today. Really appreciate it.
Yes. Yes, it was a great workshop.